It's the Morning Star Drive 117.8. You soaring up with sky, now's the time, don't delay. I'm sitting in my ride and it's time to fly. So let's realign, just listen and fill your mind.
Hey guys, how is it going? And welcome to the Morning Star Drive on 117.8. It is Wednesday, December 3rd, and so happy for you joining us. We're ready to start another day together with the Lord. So subscribe to us on YouTube, do not follow us on SoundCloud, and make sure to support us on Patreon. So today we have an exciting podcast for you. We have the world news, evangelism word study, and of course commentaries, updates, and news on what is happening around the world in this history today. All right, everyone, how are you doing? It's a wonderful and awesome Wednesday. It is the middle of the week. Hope you guys have enjoyed the week thus far. And of course, we're going to have an amazing and awesome Wednesday service tonight with more amazing and awesome word. Don't forget, tomorrow is Q&A Thursday. So get those questions ready. Send them to me whenever you can. And if you haven't yet, please leave a like and comment to build our community. Just super happy for everyone joining us every weekday on the Morning Star Drive. So let's get up and support each other each and every day. This week's Sunday Miss title, When One Grows, They Will Take Action, and the eyes of perception and the eyes of the heart. Amen. So it is Wednesday, guys, December 3rd. We're trucking in on the first week of December. I'm very, very grateful and thankful. I hope that you guys are enjoying your week that much more. Surprisingly, over here in Korea, I thought it was going to get a lot colder. And I thought it was going to snow and stuff too, but everything I see so far, there's no snow yet. Like I haven't seen any snow whatsoever. It's actually quite sunny. It's not warm though. It's around like 5-6 degrees. Well, that's like today, but just recently, it's been around I would say around what is that 10? About 12 to 13 degrees, which is not too bad at all, right? But today's a little bit chilly, but the sun is out, so it's not too bad. And if it's December 3rd, I have I got 19 days left here in Korea. And a lot of things for myself, personally wise, I want to get done before I leave. And of course, the biggest one is it's not just before I leave, it's basically getting my work done. Like it's not like the personal stuff is kind of cool because I get to I have a little bit more time. So during the day I go to cafes. During the day I get some good coffee. Nowadays I'm actually buying the beans and just doing it at home because I have a grinder and all the other stuff anyway. So I can just do it myself and save a ton of money. However, as I'm at home and stuff, which is nice. I realized that, no, this is 2025. It's the end of the year. Got to wrap up all the things I need to do. So just 2 days ago on Monday, of course, I have the Zoom Bible studies. We've been going on for like close to 5.5, 6 months, right? And I just did the last Bible study for 2025 for the Monday Zooms. And we're kind of touching it on advanced, but I'm a little bit nervous to teach everyone advanced. So what I'm doing now is I'm meeting newcomers and finding out the ones that are really, really ready to hear the word, like ready to go advanced. I would say so far from the Monday Zoom, we probably have like quality, good quality, like not quality is like not a good word because that's saying that other people are not good quality. I'm not really saying that. I'm saying the people who are ready. There's 2 people that are ready. They're both girls. They're both really good, both from different countries. One is from North America. The other one's from Southeast Asia. So they're doing. They're very, very good. I met them in person to just kind of see where they're at. And of course, there's another guy, American, that I am also teaching separately. I'll be teaching them later tonight also. But I really need to finish off what I need to finish before I leave. So especially when I'm leaving, I'm going to a completely different time zone, which is like 15 to 18 hours away, which means probably in January, it's just not possible to run the Bible studies exact same time. Because if I do Bible studies in like say Vancouver, which is like Pacific Standard Time, that's like 3 a.m., which is impossible. If I do go to the East Coast, it's a little bit easier because it'll be 6 a.m. But even then, 6 a.m. is like right after pre-dawn, like going onto Zoom and doing Bible study. That seems a little bit much and probably not something that's sustainable. Just in my opinion, stuff like that too. But I got to find another way where maybe I can do it on like Saturday morning or right before lunch or something like 11 to 12, something along that line is a little bit easier for newcomers and members to log on to. I'm still not sure yet, right? I might have to just do it like small groups, a little bit easier so people can listen to Bible study in that way. But the time zone makes it very, very difficult. So yeah, I'm not even sure what is best. And one thing I noticed, here's one thing I do notice, and it's something I've been thinking about. When I do these Zoom Bible studies in the Asian countries, there's a ton of people. There are a ton of people, and they're ready to, I'll start it. Remember, we went up to like, for just the Monday, it was up to 43 newcomers. Just Mondays. And then some of them we passed on to other lecturers. Some of them, it's just, there's the battle of attrition doing this Bible study for over 5 months. And then now it's kind of brought down to like the final groups of people that are studying, and it's probably still studying from the Mondays. Probably it's a good 10 to 15 out of 43, right? And those that are really, really good and strong is like, that's why I'm saying there's probably about two or three, and I'll be working on them like more personally and stuff like that too. But what I see in the Asian countries is I see there's an absolute need for an English lecturer, right? Because the Asian countries, especially the big three, Korea, Japan, and Taiwan, very large, very organized, very easy to gather dozens and dozens of newcomers. Because, in the Western countries, when you think about it, it's harder because there are less people. The Western countries, like they span over the entire world from New Zealand on one end to the other end, which is Hawaii, right? So there are time zone differences that are so far away from each other. And my thinking, like for these types of Zoom Bible studies, I think Asia is the only place I can do it. Like really, like to have it actually beneficial. And like when I look at Western countries that are a lot smaller, churches or countries that are too small, I don't see it possible to do like these different types of separate Bible studies on Zoom. I just don't see it possible. And this is why I'm like, if I go over to the Western countries, I don't think I'll have an opportunity to do it. I probably can only do it for a single church or something along that line. So that's why with the last 3 weeks I have here in Korea, with all the newcomers we have in the Asian countries, I do want to focus on the ones that are doing really well, that are in the advanced stages, right? It gets very, very busy in December, and the ones that are very wanting to join these Bible studies, it's a lot different, right? And I think I can even probably do 2 studies a week. I'm pretty sure I could. Right, before the end of the year, which means I can get in a good 5 Bible studies before the end of the year. And the reason I was thinking about this actually is because I was talking to another leader about this, and and this is a leader in Western countries, and with this one leader, we always have these great conversations on evangelism, how to do evangelism, what's the best way to do it, how to help each church do better and more, sharing resources with each other like lecturers or evangelists or something along that line. How do we help other churches out and such? And for me is when I'm listening to it, it's like, oh, we need to help out. We need to share resources, share lectures, share this, share plans, share. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And the reason I started thinking, like the reason why this brought up my thoughts about doing Zoom Bible studies, the difference doing it in Asia and the Western countries is when I was thinking about this, I don't think it's possible in Western countries to do Zoom Bible studies. I don't. The way I'm doing it here in Asia is just not possible. Asia has so many countries in the same time zones, and especially because of the big 3 countries of Korea, Japan, and Taiwan, very, very organized and lots of manpower. And think about it this way. When you look, why does it work in Asia and not in Western countries doing these Zoom Bible studies? And I'm getting like 40 plus, almost now, including the Thursday Bible studies. I have like 50 newcomers, whatever it is, right? because the big three countries that are way more advanced and have more manpower, they actually have the resources to just evangelize foreigners. Like, think about that. Just evangelizing foreigners is something that's not possible in Western countries. Because if you were to do an equivalent of Western countries, think about it this way. In a Western country, let's take the example of America. Let's pretend, like, example, America, and America has Americans that are running in the church and they're evangelizing Westerners, Americans, right? Now, if you look at America and the size of it and the size of the churches, how many of the churches have available manpower to put aside to evangelize, let's just say, Japanese people? They're focusing only on Japanese people. And the answer is, there's not even enough manpower to do Americans. So it's not big enough. It's not organized enough and big enough to have a group of people that are focused only on Japanese people, right? And I'm just comparing, like, it's just not big enough to do it, where in Japan, in Taiwan, in Korea, all have international departments. You have people in the international departments who are focused only on international people, Westerners, Asians, whatever it is, from any different country, that they can put those people aside and it's not hurting their church because their church has enough manpower, right? Where in Western countries, there's just not enough manpower in the first place to even put aside people to do foreigners. Do you know what I mean? So that's why I was thinking about this, because of this conversation I had with my friend. And just the top three countries are just too advanced. Oh, not too advanced, but they're more advanced, more manpower, and they have the resources to put aside for just evangelizing foreigners. And the only thing that they really need is a lecture in English. That's what they really need, right? So, in most countries outside of the big three, you're not going to find people dedicated to evangelizing foreigners in their country. And, it just doesn't make any sense to put people aside for that when you don't even have enough people in your own country. And, I even think, in my opinion, when you look at the size of most of the churches outside the big three, the vast majority are still in the small scale, the stage where each church should only be focusing on their evangelism, direct evangelism, meeting people on campus, doing one-on-one Bible studies. Like, that is the way to do it for smaller churches. There's no other way to do it. And most churches are in the phase of building membership. Like, they don't have enough. They might have 5-6 people running. So if you have 5 or 6 people running, you may be able to handle maybe 6 to 8 newcomers. And of the 6 to 8, you might have anywhere from 2 to 5 that pass, right? Something like that. Maybe. And basically, that stage is just build more membership. That's it. Just keep building more membership. It's a very different stage than the big three countries. And we can compare it actually to Korea when Sunsim was running, like when he was actually running, going out, meeting people and evangelizing. That's the stage most of the countries outside of the big three are at. You know what I mean? Where we just got to go out, meet people, evangelize. That is the main and number one thing that actually has to happen. So in the first half of history in Korea, it was basically that. People just coming to church and doing Bible study, just growing the congregation step by step, right? And if we get bigger and bigger, then just like Sunsim did it, you want to have these larger Bible study groups, and where you can have like 20, 30 people coming together and stuff like that also, which makes it a lot easier. And you have to keep building your church until it becomes big enough to start doing bigger things. In small churches, like if you think about even small churches, like 20, 30 people, you can't handle an influx of even 10 newcomers. You've basically reached capacity. Right, you've reached capacity to the highest point you're able to make it, and I think that's something where we have to understand is like, small churches, just focus on your individual evangelism, just focus on what you can do for your church only, and it's okay if you have a small church. And I would say that most of the churches in the world outside of the big three, aside from a few, you're going to probably look at probably 50 to 60 as average. Maybe even less than that, 40 to 60 as average, something like that. And those are the size of the churches you're working with, which means that the main focus should be what? It should actually be focusing mainly on just direct evangelism, street evangelism, finding people, one-on-one Bible studies and stuff like that. Like I see that as the big one, where you can have these events that gather a lot of people, but through the people you gather, you kind of pick and choose and you discern which people are actually ready, which ones are the ones that can actually, that you think are ready to learn the Bible study. And then even of those people, you're probably going to have one out of 10, 1 out of 15 that are actually going to make it to the end. You know what I mean? So like that's one of the things that it was a great, I like these conversations because it makes us think about the future and how we can, make it work bigger. But I would say is a lot of times we have that ambition, which might be a little bit too strong, that we think that things have to be bigger and bigger and bigger. And my feeling is most churches are at the stage where you just gotta, if you can evangelize 5 to, let's say a church of say 60 to 80 people can evangelize 5 people in a year, I'd be like, that's great. Like that is awesome if you can do that. Really, really is. So that would be something that I would think about. And I'm thinking that you guys would really, like most people would benefit a lot from that too. Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of one of the thoughts that I was talking, while I was talking to one of the leaders of what I was thinking about. Now that we're getting into December, like in Korea, now is a time where people are, like churches are kind of reporting in their numbers, which is quite interesting because I completely understand where the leaders are coming from, but it's a time where you have to put in the numbers of how many people are actually going to pass, right? And interesting conversation I have because remember, most of the foreigners that I'm teaching right now, the vast majority are in Korea, Japan, and Taiwan, right? The vast majority. And especially in Korea, there is that push now to start passing people. And remember guys, I'm saying I completely understand it, where the leaders are coming from, but they're kind of like, hey, should we pass this person? And in my head, I'm like, we're in the beginning of December. We have to submit these people who are getting ready to pass by next week. And I'm like, these people, then even like the 2 really, really good ones that I'm teaching right now, even those 2 really good ones, we're just starting advanced, which means we don't even know if they're going to take the word that well. Just because they're coming to service, just because they're coming to church and these different types of things does not mean that everything is great, right? Because we're not going to know until you put the pedal to the metal and then it's like, boom, this is what we're talking about. And they're going to be like, we don't know what their reaction is going to be. And in most cases, looking at the way Sunseam wants us to pass people, it shouldn't be like, oh, they realized, so they passed. No, it shouldn't be like that at all. We've tried that in the past, and this is where we make a lot of mistakes, where it should be they realize, they understand the history, they know the man of mission, and then what happens next? After knowing the man of mission, then they have to be a member in good standing. And I think that's going to be even more important if you think about that. I think that's even more important. How so? Because you don't want to pass someone and then all of a sudden you pass them, they don't come to church, they don't come to services, they're not very strong. We need to make them strong first to become good members in good standing. And then after that, we have to be those that kind of lead them, help them to grow, and they'll be a member in good standing for like 6 months or something, and then we could say, all right, they're ready to pass now. Do you know what I mean? Like we shouldn't pass first and then help them grow after, or not knowing their full situation. Like right now, when I see even the 2-3 newcomers that I'm teaching into the advanced right now, I look at them and I still couldn't tell you, oh, this person's gonna realize and pass and gonna be really strong in our church. I couldn't tell you that. I really, really couldn't. I don't know, right? I just know that they're ready to move forward to the advanced lessons, but I really, really don't know how good they're actually going to be, right? And that's why when I look at this, I'm like, yeah, it's a tough time because like I've been in that position of head leading, and you got to report how many people are passing. And of course, you need to give a number, and of course, you want some team to be happy and stuff like that too. But it's very, very easy to kind of like, oh, let's just pass them, kind of thing. You know, it's very easy to do that, very easy. But it'll cause more problems in the future when we do it in this way. So when I was thinking about this too, I was like, yeah, it's a tough. Like you're walking a tightrope. You do want to do things properly. You want to do things in the right way. You don't want to do things where you're going to be like, do I have, where you kind of fudge numbers, or where you try to push people to pass when they shouldn't be, right? So even for me, I'm just like, yeah, it's a tough situation. I completely understand it. But I would say, like, even to the people who are evangelizing foreigners here in Korea, and they do feel the push from their leaders to pass these newcomers, I'd be like, hey, stand strong. Stand strong, because there's absolutely no need to rush people, right? There's no need to put pressure on people. There's no need to make them, do it like this or that. There's no need for that whatsoever. All they need to do is what? They really, really need to get themselves in a position where they can be good standing members that can, that will really be able to hold strong in their faith. You know what I mean? And that is something that I looked at. I was like, yeah, I think that's a very, very important thing, that we have to make sure that the people who are, that as people who are taking care of sharing the gospel and raising these, basically giving spiritual birth to these people into providence, is we have that responsibility to not be careless, but we need to be those that make them strong and healthy, and that when the time comes, they will be ready to go, and they will have, they'll be ready to take that next step. They're not going to feel the pressure. Like, one of the things I hate about I don't think is one of the good things you should tell newcomers. And I'm sorry, guys. I hear this a lot, and I'm gonna be very honest with you guys, from Asian countries. Whenever they evangelize someone from another country, it's like, oh, you're the standard of your country. Oh, you need to preach the gospel in your country. And that gives unwarranted pressure, unnecessary pressure to these people, where you don't even know. Just because they're going to pass doesn't mean they're going to pioneer their country. It doesn't mean that they're going to be the standard. That doesn't mean that either. How do you know that this person is going to be the person who connects you to the standard? Do you know what I mean? So it's something where I think it's unnecessary pressure to say, "Ooh, you're the first. Oh, you're the important." Nah, I think that's absolutely unnecessary. And it's something where we don't need to put pressure on these people when they don't need to, right? We just don't. But when I hear that, it kind of makes me cringe a little bit, like, right? It kind of gives people the pressure, or it gives them that feeling of, how would I say that? It's like you put too much importance on them. And then you start to look at them as, oh, this is going to be the first person in the country. And it's true, they could be the first in the country. But to call them standards, or to call them, the people that are going to evangelize their countries, I think that's something that shouldn't be said, right? That's something where people realize as they're growing into the history. Like, that's what I really think should happen, is they should just grow on their own. They should feel the value and the importance. They should grow really well. And, if they become the standard, they do. If they don't, it's okay. And they can just grow. And not comfortable, but not having unnecessary pressure to come against them in that way. So that's one of the things that I find that happens a lot. And I'm hoping that we don't make those same mistakes. A lot of these people are not going to be standards, like standard for their country, or they're going to go and pioneer. Most of the people who we even think are going to be like that are not going to be like that. That's just the reality of it. It's not that easy. It's not that easy to, become that type of person, the standard of your country, right? To become the flag bearer or whatever you want to call it, right? And that's why I think it's just not a healthy thing for people to put that unnecessary pressure on them. Yeah. So, we're getting to the end of the year. Let's do things well. And ultimately, the most important thing is not whether they pass or not. It's just, are they healthy? Are they spiritually healthy, right? And are they growing well? And that should be the number one thing. Okay. So there it is, guys. That is the end of today's first segment. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. Before we get into the evangelism word study, let's move into the first music break of the day.
That's why they say that it's too hard. No matter how blazing your love may be, our meetings and conversations are the same, you see. You can't let this love go to waste. Doing the same things day to day, we're at the same place. Let's speak with hope about new things and the things you have done. I want to get closer to you, I want to give you my love. If you do not enjoy this love, it will disappear. When your thoughts are hard changes, he will take away your blessing. Gotta find your form, find your mission, and just find your blessings. Let's just get back to the old days and find out the temptations. I wanna get to know you, I want to show you that I can give you the word in many places, many spaces. I have seen a lot of people come and go. You're gonna make it, do your absolute best to reach the final destination. Yeah, it's 1978. This feeling is so great. The word you preach amazes me. Why do I feel this fate? Ooh, it's 1978. This feeling is so great. The word you preach amazes me. Why do I feel this fate? Can I get to know you? I just wanna know you. Can I get to know you? I just wanna know you. Can I get to know you? I just wanna know you. Can I get to know you? I just wanna know you.
All right, so let's get into today's evangelism word study. And yes, it is the beginning of December, the first evangelism word study of of December, and for the end of this year. Very, very excited and happy because I just looking at the theme that Sunstein gave for next year. It's very different, don't you guys think? The year to run, right? The year to I've actually never heard this theme in my 27 years in Providence. There might have been a variation, but I've never seen it just the year to run. And it made me think of a couple of things. For instance, we've just gone through a very crazy, tumultuous, chaotic time in Providence, starting from the pandemic in 2020 and then all the way to 2025. And it seems like these 5 years have been the big, where we went through a pandemic, which set the stage for this crazy 2023. And now for 2024, 2025, it's been more of recovery years. Like we're just kind of recovering from all the craziness that's happened. And on top of it, there's a trial. Like there's just a lot of stuff going on. It's a time of tribulation. And it feels like with this new theme, this is like, hey, it's time to get back to where we were before. We're getting back to where? Pre-pandemic time. Now, what does that mean? Well, pre-pandemic time to me means that, hey, we went through difficulties. It was hard. Actually, it was ridiculously hard. Okay. A lot of people went through massive amounts of stress, right? Some people went through trauma. Some people, I'll tell you this is, everyone deals with trauma or difficulties in different ways, and it depends how you grew up, and it depends what you've been through in your life, right? And when I look at all the things, when I look at all the different people, and I see how they're doing now, like I do see some people who have really overcome in an amazing way. They're doing awesome. They're running. They're making sure that everything happens even better. So like that's great. And there's going to be some that struggle more in different areas. Now, what I think is 2026 is a time, generally speaking, for the general public in Providence, it is now time for us to get back and start running like we did before, getting on the campuses, going out, meeting people. And, I think that's going to be the best and biggest way. I don't think there's going to be a way bigger than this, especially for like a lot of the biggest audience I have is English-speaking audiences, which is all pioneering stages or all in early stages. And even when I talk about Korea, Japan, and Taiwan, even then, the foreign, like evangelizing foreigners is still at the beginning stages. For instance, when Japan, Korea, and Taiwan become very powerful and good when it actually comes to foreign evangelism, they'll be able to do what the former faith church does is they'll have foreign churches in their churches. Do you know what I mean? Or they'll be able to put their resources together and start a foreign church. I see that very possible, right? As they get better and better and bigger. That's something that's really going to happen. And I'm hoping it will happen too, where in Japan, you'll have an international church in English in Tokyo or in Osaka, in the major cities. There'll be one in Seoul. There'll be another one in Busan. There'll be another one in Daejeon. Do you know what I mean? Where it is exactly a head leader in English doing things in an English way. I think it will eventually reach that point. We haven't reached that yet. So that's why I'm saying we haven't reached that fullness in the big three countries. And then in the other countries outside the big three, we're all kind of still in the early stages and we just got to evangelize and build up the manpower as best as possible. Like we just got to do that. That's the things that we got to do. We have to find the people who really want to run. We have to find the people who really, that's a hard way to put it. Like we have to find the people who are going to take the mantle, take the mission of running full time, becoming pastors, becoming leaders, head leaders, department leaders, stuff like that too. We need those people. Right? We need those people who are ready to go, who want to get into full-time ministry. And right now we don't have many of them because we haven't really grown that much. So you're just dealing with the same people, and the same people want to be the leaders, right? Because if you don't grow anymore, there's no new blood coming in that might want to become full-time leaders. We're basically dealing with the same people every year, and the people want to be leaders are going to be leaders, and the people don't are not going to. And if we don't evangelize for a long time, what eventually happens is, like if I look at my situation too, is eventually I'm gonna get older, and eventually I have to phase out. Like naturally. It's not like I don't want to do it. No, naturally you just phase out. Which means that if there's no evangelism for a long time, the leaders, you're going to have the same group of people with the same 10 leaders, and eventually those leaders will phase out, and then you're going to have less and less people who can do it. Do you know what I mean? And that's why we need to have this fresh water coming in constantly. And the only way that's going to happen is we need to actually go out and run. Right? I know that a lot of people are going into, oh, but what about internet evangelism? My serious point right now is, in everything that I've seen, the only places that can really do serious internet evangelism, from what I see, is probably the big three. That's what I see. Like, those are the three areas that I see can really implement internet evangelism, like real internet evangelism. Everyone else is going to probably be doing more of a direct internet evangelism, which means they will meet people and then give them the Instagram for the church, and then give them, they'll give them these things that are on their internet. It's not going to be like, I made a platform, I have 100,000 people that are following, then I'm going to gather them and they're going to start doing Bible study. That's not going to happen, I don't think, outside the big three. It's just too small. In the big three, the great thing about the big three is this, and I think this is one of the things I look at as such a massive advantage. Like, when I look at Korea, you can drive from one end of Korea to the other in 5 hours. It is a small country, and there's tons of churches everywhere. So when you do internet evangelism, you're going to be able to you're actually going to be able to manage all these people and connect them to churches in different cities. Taiwan is very similar. Japan is a little bit harder. They'll probably have to split into the East and the West, but it's still small enough to do it. Everywhere else is just too spread out to have internet evangelism. Like, this is one of the things I talked about when it comes to Western internet evangelism. What I see is the easiest way to do it right now is, I'm just going to make materials on my YouTube channel so that people who want to evangelize can show people a video and say, hey, what do you think? And stuff. They can use it as a tool. I don't see it as a huge platform that's going to bring a lot of people right now. Right? Only until later, when we actually have an online church, that will change things around, but it's not going to do anything right now. Do you know what I mean? So this is like one of the things that I've been thinking about, is like, we're just at that stage. We got to run. We got to go out, meet people, evangelize people, bring them to church, bring them to Bible study, bring them to an online Bible study, bring them to something where people will be able to come and say, I really like this. I really enjoy this. This is something that I really want to do. Do you know what I mean? And I think it's something that we can really get ourselves to hang our hats on this and say, hey, this is something that I think is beneficial. And this is something that, this is something where it's just a lot of groundwork, getting out there on the campus, finding people, talking to people. Like, this is going to be the number one thing in all the Western countries. It's going to be the only way right now. We're not going to find a lot of other ways to do it. And one of the reasons is if in the English world, if I have an Instagram that's going really well or something along that line, the hard part is the people who can see this Instagram is people all over the world. So if people all over the world are actually seeing it, then what does that mean? It means that the only ones I can really connect to or talk to face to face are the people in my city, but you're actually connecting to everyone all over. Interestingly, Korea, Japan, and Taiwan is you can just find people in your country. And your country's small enough that you'll be able to connect and talk and meet with them in that way too. So when I look at that, I was like, yeah, this is something that where internet ministry, it is going to be like a tool and beneficial, more of a marketing thing. But ultimately, it is going to be the time to run. Go out, meet people, talk to them, find the right people to study. And then from there, you'll be able to, start bringing in people one by one. And every year, bring 2, 3, 5, 6, 10 people. And then from there, we're going to have, then we can make a greater, you'll have more and more people that can run for this history, right? There will come a time where you're going to be evangelizing 10 people a year, 20 people a year, 30 people a year, right? There is going to come a time. And even for me, I think I've seen it with my own eyes. Yeah, we've had some stuff where I went to Malaysia for 2 months, and in 2 months, we passed 6 people in 2 months. In 2 months, right? That's a big thing, right? To be able to do that. I remember when we were in England and we're pioneering, in the 2 years we were there, it was like, how many people? Like 20 20 something people that actually passed, right? When I was in South Africa, we passed 4 people in 3 months. When I was head leading in New York, we were able to have, like, in 1 year, it was like 23 people passed in 1 year, and it was something like 45 in 3 years or something along that line, right? Which means it's possible. It's very, very possible. I've seen it in my lifetime. I've seen it work. I've seen it happen. And it's just a matter of us having that right attitude, the right spiritual conditions, getting ourselves into a position where we can, it's not going to just be people are just going out meeting people, but people are actively and deliberately trying to find newer and better ways, taking care of people in a really good way, finding the right people, discerning them really well, making sure that they're outstanding members in your churches before you put them through a passing and giving them membership. Right? Remember, we're not like a regular former faith church. Former faith churches, you go through, oh, this is the church, this is who we are. Okay, now that you finish this, you are now officially a member. No. For us, this is the history of God. Most people who pass, does that mean just because you pass, you mean you're going to do good? No. We have to make sure that people realize they live the life. And not only do they live the life, they become a genuine part of this history. Like, they really feel the ownership of this history. And then when they pass, they'll feel even better about, like, they're going to feel like the sense of accomplishment going through it. You can't just make it easy, right? People have to feel accomplishment, feel responsibility, and this is when we're going to be able to make a greater history. So 2026, guys, it is the year of, it's the year to run. We got to go out and run. We've got to do things. We've got to get ourselves back on track like we were before, where pre-pandemic, there was like 5 people, 7 people, 10 people passing per year, and we want to get ourselves back to that road, right? Let's get ourselves where God is giving us the word like crazy, and we have to be those that take it to the next level. And we say, yep, this is the time. And God, work through me here. Work through me here. God, let's make it happen here. And when this happens, this is when we're going to start like feeling that hope and energy. Remember, in the message this week, son seems like, hey, put the word into action. Take action every day. And when you take action, you'll have hope. And it's like, yes, of course. When you take action, you're going to have hope. You're going to be meeting people, this and that. And then if you have hope, what does hope give you? Hope gives you strength, right? Because you see light at the end. Oh, wow, we're there. And then the hope gives you strength. And then what do you do with that strength? The strength helps you to overcome the difficult times. But where does it start with? It starts with taking action every single day. And this is what it's going to be for 2026. I was checking in because I am going to the States, right? I will be going to the States and stuff, and I have to, I am going to the States. So I'm checking like, when did the semester start? I'm like, oh, when should I be going over to these cities? Because when I go to these cities, what should I be doing? When I go to these cities, I should be preparing, working together, making a plan, and then going out, setting forth what we're actually going to do, and then we just got to fulfill it. Right? We got to fulfill it and make things happen in the best and awesome way, right? So I am very, very excited for 2026. And from the end of the year, from Christmas time until the 15 days of giving glory to God, that's going to be the time where we're kind of loading up. We're going to end the year well by giving glory to God. End the year well by having a great time giving thanksgiving and glory to God. And we're going to start the new year well by giving glory, praise, and honor and everything so that we can have an amazing and awesome 2026. Guys, I'm very, very excited. I hope that you guys are excited too. It's going to be a year to run, which means God is going to make the situation so that we can run. We can find the right people too. Don't be discouraged. Don't be dismayed. It's going to be an amazing 2026. I think from what I feel, things are going to open up again, and I'm really hoping that it can happen in this way. Okay? Either way, I hope you guys have understood and enjoyed this segment 2 on Evangelism Word Study. Before we get into the world news, let's move into the final music break of the day.
を行かせてもっと良い道を探すようにされた私が歩むこの道は新しい歴史の道だった神様の中で生きる生の価値と望みを失わずにどんな困難に襲われても命の道を主と共に歩もう神の創造目的なしたこの生を奪われず生きよう光の世界にいる人たちは昼にすべきことを考え生きる夜の暗闇にいる人たちは夜にすべきことを考え生きるこの世界は永遠な世界のために創造されたものだから暗闇から抜け出して永遠な命の道へ行こう神様をもっと愛するなら心の目が開かれて神が構想した神秘的な世界を悟るようになるだろうそこには愛と義と光の黄金天国が広がってる神様の中で生きる生の価値と望みを失わずにどんな困難に襲われても命の道を主と共に歩もう神の創造目的なしたこの生を奪われず生きよう神様をもっと愛するなら心の目が開かれて神が構想した神秘的な世界を悟るようになるだろうそこには愛と義と光の黄金天国が広がってる
Okay, so let's get into today's world news. What is happening around the world? Top 3 news that I'm going to take a look at today. The first news, I'm always looking at South Korea because Sunsim talks about this is what's going to happen here in Korea. And since the Manna Mission is here, we're going to see God doing a lot of cleanup. Okay, here's another big cleanup that happened in Korea where over 120,000 home cameras were hacked in South Korea for sexploitation footage. So 4 people have been arrested in South Korea for allegedly hacking more than 120,000 video cameras in homes and businesses and using the footage to make sexually exploitive materials for an overseas website. Police announced the arrests on Sunday, saying the accused exploited the internet protocol vulnerabilities and actually hacked into home cameras, and that cameras are connected to home internet networks, and they're often installed for security or to monitor the safety of children and pets. But the locations of cameras hacked in the country reportedly included private homes, karaoke rooms, Pilates studio, and gynecologist clinic. right? So the National Police Agency revealed that the 4 suspects operated independently of one another and did not conspire together. Like one of the suspects accused of hacking 63,000 cameras. And this person made like 545 videos and then sold it for like 12,000 US dollars. Another one did 70,000 cameras, which is 648 videos for, how much is this? This is for a lot less. It's probably like 8,000 US dollars. But these 2 suspects were responsible for like over 60% of the videos posted on that website illegally distributed. So police are now moving to block and shut down that website and cooperating with foreign agencies to investigate its operator. And they've also arrested 3 people who are suspected of having bought and viewed material through the site, right? So this IP camera hacking and illegal filming inflict immense suffering on victims and are therefore serious offenses. And they're basically going to go out to eradicate these, but they got caught. At this time, right now, guys, over 120,000 home cameras hacked in South Korea. And now the 4 people who have done this have all been caught. So thank God, right? And as the message is saying, this is a time for God's judgment, and it's going to happen. And South Korea is one of the biggest ones, and we're seeing a lot of these things happening right now. The other one, remember what happened in Thailand it was Cambodia, right? Koreans were working to, human trafficking, bringing people from Korea and then not coercing, but like bringing them there when they think they're going on vacation, and then instead they exploiting them and stuff like that too. So a lot of this stuff is happening, but thank God that God is catching all these people right now. Next is Ukraine. What's happening in the Ukraine? So, the U.S., Ukraine, and Russia are working on a peace treaty, and they're kind of getting to the nitty-gritty parts of it, getting near and closer to the end. Okay, and there's a U.S. envoy that's preparing to meet with Vladimir Putin, also meeting with Ukraine, and President Zelensky of the Ukraine. They said basically their priorities in the peace talks is about sovereignty and securing strong security guarantees. And Zelensky basically said that the territorial issue is the most difficult, right? Like what parts does Russia get to keep or whatnot, right? And Russia continues to demand that Ukraine give up areas of the eastern Donbass region that it still holds, which Kyiv maintains it will never do. And after the meeting, French President Macron in Paris, he joined a call with European leaders, including those of the UK, Germany, Poland, and Italy. And Ukrainian and U.S. negotiators finished 2 days of meetings in Florida as they worked to revise a peace plan viewed as favoring Russia. The White House struck a positive tone on the talks on Monday, with the press secretary saying the administration feels very optimistic about a deal being reached to end the war. And we're really hoping that this will be one of the things that God cleans up too. And of course, if it's going to be about like what just from what I've read and what I've seen, I think it's going to be impossible for Ukraine to keep all the land. Like there's going to be something that they're going to have to give up no matter what, from what it looks like. Last but not least, we're going to go into the U.S. And Venezuela. So there is a big buildup of U.S. military planes and warships that are nearing Venezuela. So satellite imagery shows at least 6 U.S. military vessels have been operating in the Caribbean over the past week as tensions between the U.S. and Venezuela escalate. Right? It follows a series of U.S. airstrikes against alleged drug boats in the Caribbean and Eastern Pacific in recent months, which the Trump administration says are necessary to stem the flow of drugs. The buildup involves thousands of troops in the world's largest warship being positioned within striking distance of Venezuela, and has sparked speculation about the potential for some kind of military action. Right? So, these ships in the Caribbean, they're very, very close to the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico, but they're kind of in striking distance of Venezuela, right? The largest aircraft carrier, the USS Gerald Ford, which was about 75 miles south or 120 kilometers south of the Dominican Republic. It's about 700 kilometers from the Venezuelan coast. And, this huge boat, this is not the largest. It's huge, right? This aircraft carrier is almost the same size as the Empire State Building. That's how big it is. There's 4,600 sailors on that one aircraft carrier, and it travels with a strike group with several other warships, right? And it has capacity for up to 90 aircraft, including fighter jets, and helicopters. And it costs like $13 billion to build. Like that's how huge this is, right? And then they have the F-35 fighter jets. And these fighter jets are in the Caribbean. And they have bombers and spy planes over the region. And it's a pretty brutal thing. Okay, so in October, just this year, there's 3 B-52 bombers that took off from an air base in Louisiana and circled off the coast of Venezuela before returning, right? And last month, tracking data shows several P-8 Poseidon reconnaissance aircrafts flew south over the Caribbean from a U.S. naval base in Florida. And experts are saying this suggests that the U.S. is trying to gather military intelligence from the region. Right? So the question is the U.S. preparing to attack Venezuela? Well, the buildup has prompted concerns that the U.S. is preparing to directly target Venezuela or potentially try to topple the socialist government of President Nicolas Maduro. And the level of forces and the fact that they're plainly not tailored for the purpose of pure drug interdiction has raised suspicions that the U.S. may be heading towards war with Venezuela. So the escalation risks are significant, but I think that within the Trump administration, there's still considerable debate over what will come next, right? So far, how many airstrikes have there been? Since early September, there have been at least 21 separate strikes in international waters, both in the Caribbean and in the Eastern Pacific, according to the BBC. And collectively, at least 83 people have been killed. And while U.S. forces have not publicly identified the people killed, they have allegedly were all narco-terrorists. Okay? So it's something that we could see something happening, and we're not sure exactly what's going to happen. But there is this huge fear of what is happening right now, and very, very big possibility there could be a war in the U.S. and in Canada. U.S. and in Venezuela. Not sure exactly what's going to happen, but let's wait and see. Right? Let's just wait and see what happens, and let's pray for it. But, as we're getting into December, remember, December is the month of judgment, so there could be something that God is doing that we don't know anything about yet. All right? So there it is, guys. That is the top 3 news around the world at this time right now. Hope you guys really gained a lot from it. It gives you a lot more to pray for. All right? So, yeah, that's it for today's Wednesday podcast. Hope you guys really enjoyed it. And look forward to tomorrow's Q&A Thursday. Bring your questions whenever you have it. Okay? So, everyone, have an amazing and awesome Wednesday service tonight. And we'll see you guys again tomorrow on the Morning Star Drive on 117.8.
It's the Morning Star Drive 117.8. You soaring up with sky, now's the time, don't delay. I'm sitting in my ride and it's time to fly. So let's realign, just listen and fill your mind.
I'm burning with desire and the passion. Nobody can stop me when I'm like this. I got my head in the zone, I'm on the Morning Star Drive, I'm burning with desire and the passion. Nobody can stop